25 years ago, 7 p.m. on the 26th of November 1983, David Bowie was warming up backstage for the Serious Moonlight concert at Western Springs. The show that followed remains New Zealand's largest paid concert by a single artist. The Serious Moonlight Tour played 96 shows across 59 cities in 15 countries. By the time it finally came to an end, Bowie had performed to an estimated audience of almost 3 million people across 3 continents.
My name is Hugh Lynn and I was the Paul Dainty representative in New Zealand. The act was on a roll. It was happening and building overseas, and it's like a wave that was coming towards us and we picked it up. Well, it's the largest ever paid concert in the Southern Hemisphere. I mean, it's amazing that many people can go out into an enclosed area and not kill each other or, very little damage. I mean, it's something about New Zealanders that can go out and party and get out of it and get drunk and everything, but not want to hurt each other.
Hello, my name's Frank Simmons. In 1983, I was fortunate enough to be a participant in the entire David Bowie Serious Moonlight Tour Let's Dance album. And I remember the dance exponents opened up for us in New Zealand. Fantastic night, fantastic show, and I remember just watching the people on the hill and the population. And it looked like everyone was there at a picnic instead of a rock concert. It was a family affair, and it was so wonderful. And young people, old people, babies. I do remember that.
Put on your red shoes and dance the blues. Let's dance to the song they're playing on the radio.
It was the Southern Hemisphere's single biggest concert of all time. Official attendance figures at the Western Springs concert stood at around 80,000, but the perimeter fence was pushed over by desperate fans, and it's estimated that another 10,000 or so people clambered in to see the show. The Guinness Book of Records called it the largest crowd gathering per head of population anywhere in the world. And for one night, Western Springs outnumbered the country's 5th biggest city. 45 people were arrested for being drunk and disorderly, as well as drugs charges. 350 people were treated by ambulance staff, mainly for heat exhaustion, and 28 were taken to hospital. There was a drug overdose, a broken leg, a dislocated shoulder, and on a more positive note, 2 babies were born. Mike Chun's enjoyed a diverse career in the New Zealand music industry, but back in 1983, Chun was running Mushroom Records New Zealand.
When I arrived, and I'm looking at the photograph of the show, as I walked through there into the backstage area, David Bowie and dance exponents were all standing around in a circle talking. It was like he was just one of their mates. It was an amazing sight, and I said, "Spread out, guys." And I took a photo of the 6 of them, 5 in the band and David Bowie. And so the whole atmosphere backstage was one of, it sounds a bit hippie, togetherness. David Bowie had time for everybody.
I think that with the Serious Moonlight Tour, that everything was working for him internationally. The videos that came out were hot, the album was running hot, etc. So there was a real anticipation about him coming here. Plus, he'd been here before and he'd always delivered the goods.
Clive Greenwood was working as tour manager at the time.
Everyone knows Western Springs will know that there's an embankment opposite the stage area. And basically that right up into the trees, there was people everywhere, all over the place. The numbers that were there, I wouldn't have a clue, but all I could say is in this day, under the OSH situation, I don't think they would have got that many people in.
Lifelong Bowie fan, Samantha Warland.
I was 12 years old, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me at the time. I think it all went a bit crazy, really. I just remember feeling like I was in the best place on earth at that point. Being 12 years old and thinking David Bowie was, next to God was pretty cool. I actually used to wish he was my dad. I still do, actually. He'd be quite a cool dad.
You remember the guy that's with you. Such for the first time in over 5 years, David Bowie and his band! Hey, what you like to do? Hey.
David Bowie was there first. David Bowie is the original item.
My name's Jiling, which is my Chinese name actually. I have an English name, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. And I was born in Auckland, New Zealand. And I'm not even going to tell you when I was born in Auckland, New Zealand.
I could escape this feeling with my China girl.
The Western Springs concert, I was living here. And I remember David came on and the show was amazing. And then just before China Girl, he came out and he said, and this one's for Jiling, I know you're out there somewhere. And I was like, oh, wow, amazing.
Back in the early 80s, Barry Jenkins was a presenter on both radio and television.
Well, I know several people that were absolute Bowie freaks. There were quite a number of them, actually. And the man could do no wrong as far as they were concerned. In fact, I knew people that would rather buy a Bowie album than eat.
And the house lights were about to go down for the appearance of David Bowie.
Thank you! I'd like to introduce my band to you right now. On saxophones, Lenny Pickett.
Hi, I'm Lenny Pickett, and I was the saxophone player, or one of the 3 saxophone players on David Bowie's Serious Moonlight tour. I remember distinctly the Western Springs concert, and it sticks in my mind certainly more than most performances because of the environment, because of the natural venue, because of the huge number of people that were there, and the extremely unusual quality of having this very ancient geography along with our faux ancient set. It was a striking juxtaposition of art and reality.
The personality of David shone to an incredibly professional level. I was involved in the industry for well over 15 years, but during that period he would be the most professional I've ever come across. He was just part of one big family that brought an amazing show. I mean, I think the people that have seen that show will remember how great it was.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Down Under the Moonlight was written and produced by Sam Coley for Radio Hauraki. For more information about the Serious Moonlight Tour, visit bowiedownunder.com. I'm Nick Brown. Thanks to all our contributors, and thank you for listening.